From GC 90.7's Studio A on the campus of Gulf Coast State College, RAPLINE with Emily Blaze.
Since the late 1970s, more than 300 children have been raised at the Taunton Family Children's Home in Weewahitchka. And today on RAPLINE, we'll learn more about the home and tell you about an upcoming fundraiser as well. RAPLINE is a service of Gulf Coast State College and GC 90.7. Welcome to the show, Diana Taunton, director of the Taunton Family Children's Home. Also with us today is Brian Baber, a board member and volunteer. Welcome to you both.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, for those who may not know, Diana, tell us about the family home in Weewahitchka.
There's a lot to tell. In a nutshell, my parents just wanted to be able to take in kids and raise them, kids who needed a home, and they thought that it would be, 10, 15 of them, and they would just raise them and have a big family. My dad had a big family. There was 13 of them. After about 15 of us, they just kept getting calls for kids who needed a place to stay and couldn't say no. And so it wound up, when I was growing up, we had an average of 20 to 30, 35 kids in the house. So we've just done that since then.
And now tell me about what it looks like now as far as how many children are at the home and then house parents and grandparents and so forth.
When I was growing up, it was just my parents and them taking in kids and raising them like they were own. And then we got another set of house parents, another house. Just because there was so much overflow and it just became such a big need in the area, in the world, I guess. So we have the house set up just for boys, and we have another house that is available. So from time to time, we've had at least 2 houses run, sometimes 3, just depending on the kids and the house parents. The other set of house parents we have right now are Orrin and Lisa Combs. They've been with us for about 20, 21 years. So they've raised their kids, they have grandbabies, and they've raised plenty of us as well.
And Diana, tell us about your story. You're one of the first children that were adopted by the Tauntons.
Yeah. I was adopted in 1980 at 6 months of age. My brother Adam came before me, and it's a really simple story. I just didn't have a place to go. And my mother found out about the children's home and asked Mom and Dad if they would take me, and they did. And been there ever since. And
today you're the director.
I'm down on the totem pole. I do what I can. I'm really good, I think, of loving and being with the kids and realizing that they are me and I am them, and that's my heart. But, my mom's a big chief. I take a lot of direction from her.
And you have a daughter yourself?
I do, Marley. She's 8 years old, and she's been excited. We've been at the house with me as a house parent for about 6 months now. And before that, we've always been involved in the children's home, and she's always asked me from the time she was 5, are we going to have a brother and sister? And so I'm like, well, you have lots of brothers and sisters and cousins, and we've moved in, and that's been a great transition for her and for me. And so we find lots of time to spend and be with the kids, and she's loving it so far, so I'm really thankful.
And so how do you go about paying for the upkeep of everything?
Well, we have a lot of private donations, church groups that help. The fundraiser is our main and only real fundraiser that we do every year specifically for the children's home. Before that, my parents started with just the money out of their pockets, and they worked hard and came back home at the end of the day and fed us and clothed us, and then over the years it got where people were seeing what they were doing and just wanted to be involved. But it's a totally privately funded, donation-based nonprofit. So.
And to talk a little bit more about this fundraiser that's coming up, Brian, that's kind of your baby, I guess?
Well, it was envisioned a little more than 5 years ago. There was a group of us from Lynn Haven United Methodist Church that had gotten involved and done some things with the children's home. And so, in speaking with Diana and David and Abby about what could we do to help them, they didn't have an annual event for, both to bring people back to the children's home that had graduated on, and then also to, raise awareness and raise funds. So it kind of serves as a multi-purpose.
And now this is a big family festival with all kinds of events that anybody is encouraged to attend.
Oh yes, absolutely. It is. We it was started as a beach volleyball tournament, but it quickly evolved into something much more than that. And now it's called a Family Fun Day. And there's everything from water slides to beach volleyball to basketball tournaments, putt-putt, all kinds of fun stuff. And there's music and food.
And I guess for people who have never seen the home and have heard about it, is this a good time for them to come out and kind of take a look at things?
Yeah, it's a great time. This has been one of the big days that we've been able to tell people every year. If you can't come, at least try to come on this day. It'll be this day every year, and come out and see us and see the kids and talk to the house parents and just get a feel for what it really is. There's no way for me in my life ever have I been able to explain where I live and what we are until somebody actually sees it. And sometimes it's hard to pull people in. Well, you guys live way out there to see it. But once you do, you realize, wow, this is a true home for children to grow up in. This is not an orphanage. This is not a group home, care center. But it's a true home for us and this is our family for life, whether you're there with us a week or till you go up to college and have your own babies.
So now, as you mentioned, you're in Wewa. Where exactly are you located, and where will the Family Fun Day take place?
We're just south of Wewa, maybe 4 or 5 miles. So the festival is on the property, and you're able to see anything and everything. We have several homes there, and the grandparent home that's being built, the pond and the slide and the lake that we have with the volleyball, and then the 5K even starts over at the main home, and that's where the gymnasium is in the main home. So everything's open and free for people to come in and look and see the kids and see how we live and what we do, because I think it's a big question in people's minds in the beginning of just, well, what is that? Is it just an orphanage? And we just tell them, no, this is our home.
And the date that this is happening?
It's May 9th, the Saturday before Mother's Day, and we try to do that every year now. It's kind of our day.
And Brian, you were saying something new this year is going to be the Friday night reunion for some of the kids.
Right. That was one of the initial things that David Taunton had said he hoped that this would evolve into, would be something that they could have a reunion of sorts where people would be able to come back and enjoy each other and see the children's home again. And so this the Friday night before the event would be on the 8th. They'll have a dinner, and those people will be able to come back and see that.
Mm-hmm. So how did you get involved?
I saw that you were putting some pictures of the property up there, and you have to see it to believe it. When you describe a beach volleyball scene in the middle of Weewa, it just doesn't look like Weewa, but that it is Weewa. I had met David over the years, and a matter of fact, I was buying trusses from him. They have a truss plant, and I'm a builder, so I was buying trusses from him, and somehow we just ended up connecting, and then I got to know a little bit more about him, and I went out there and visited the children's home, and I think we did our small group did some activities where we went out and played with the kids. But I think we made some rockets one day, and went to Tyndall to check out the planes another time, and it just kind of evolved from that. So.
And now, just this past week, you said that more kids have come into the home.
Yeah, we got 8 new kids last week, and my mom has told me that's a record for 1 week.
Wow.
So a family of 6, and they're from the Bay County area, actually, and then we have a pair of sisters there, too, of them. And so the 6 is 3 girls and 3 boys, so we've split them between my house and the boys' house, and they have settled in quite well. The other 2 have kind of been part of our family. We've raised their uncle. He's in college, actually. He goes to Gulf Coast. So they see him quite a lot and are familiar with us. So they're fitting right in as well, of course. But it fluctuates like that. Sometimes you get in groups of 3s and 4s, and sometimes it's a lull where we're just easy peasy and there's maybe 12 of us. So, but it's...
And now, do you anticipate, do they usually stay until they're 18 or until they go to college, or?
I would love that for any and every kid that comes to our house. But if they have a family and a home to go to, the hope and the plan is that you can be back with your family. If it's not, and grandparents are raising you, or the church is trying to manage these 6 kids and can't keep them together, then it just every case is different. but there's always that option, and that's the hope in my heart, is that if there's no loving place for them to be, they'll be with us forever.
And now, as you mentioned the gym on the property. You mentioned Gulf Coast, and Diana, you're an alum from Gulf Coast and was involved in basketball. So tell us a little bit about that.
I did basketball at Chipola.
Okay.
I did volleyball here at Gulf Coast.
Volleyball, right.
That was after my career and time over at Chipola, and graduated there, and then came over here to Gulf Coast and just got to know the coaches here and played pickup ball. And they invited me to play. I just played a season, and then I was in the middle of getting married, had a baby. So it was so much fun. I love volleyball. And the coaches are really near and dear to my heart still. And we do Volley for Christ leagues with them. And so they're very associated with me in the children's home on a permanent basis. Gulf Coast has offered for all of the kids who come through our home to be able to attend school here the first 2 years. Things have changed. You guys are now a 4-year school, so I don't know how that has affected the scholarships that are available to our kids here, but I do know that so far it's been the 2 years, and it's been wonderful. I mean, for us to be able to have kids to be able to go local and not have to pay for them to go away somewhere for those first 2 years is just a beautiful thing. Like, I'm so grateful for you guys.
And so, is that a big part of growing up there? Is education and sports and?
It is. I find that a lot of the kids now that I'm a house mom and more aware of the kids and their lives. It's been really sporadic with a lot of them missing school and way behind because of this or that, and for them to come to our home and know that they're going to school every day, and having that stability and the stability to, yes, you can play sports, because a lot of them want to but never have. And we encourage that. Right now we're in baseball and softball, Little League, and the season that's over there. And so we have baseball and softball 4 nights a week. And then we have music lessons on Wednesdays, our only free night. So it keeps us busy, but I would rather them do that than sit home and be on their gadgets.
So now, does everybody learn to play an instrument?
If they want to. I have a guy from Panama City area who comes and teaches, so he does drums and guitar and piano. And we have, I think, 7 of our kids from the home right now that take lessons. And then there's 5 or 6 more from the community that come and take lessons with him that day as well. So it's a full day of it, and it's wonderful. The kids, if we know that they're going to be there for a while, then we'll go ahead and put them in that program with him as long as we have room. We might have to add another day to that.
So now, to both of you, what are some things that you think our listeners and viewers might find surprising about the Taunton Family Children's Home?
I think that it exists. I mean, you really need to come see it. I hope people will take that Saturday the 9th to come out and check it out. Everyone that I've ever taken there has said, you described it well, but I wouldn't have believed it until I saw it. And it is just a place that you feel at home when you're just walking around the property. You know that people are being loved there, and there are, like Diana was saying, I mean, there's things for them to do rather than sit behind a computer or TV all day. And they're getting out and they're engaging with each other, and they're learning intersocial skills to deal with each other. And it's just an amazing place. One of the things I always like to do is, when I'm giving somebody a tour of the house, is to open up that back door. And I mean, how many back doors open up into a full-size gym, right?
Yeah.
And you walk in, and there is a full-size gym there, and I just think what a special place for those kids to be able to grow up.
What do you think folks find surprising?
I don't know. I think once they are there for a time, then they realize that we actually are just like their home. There's just more of us, and that's hard to explain. But I think once they're there for a while or come back after 2 or 3 times, then they realize, wow, you guys operate just like a family, because that's what we are. And that's what we try to be and try to teach the children. This is how families operate. This is, your good days and bad days and the normal days, and you have your mom and dad, and this is how it should be, whether you're here for a minute and please take this on with you, or if you're here for a lifetime and take it on and teach your kids the same.
So with that being said, what does, say, breakfast or dinner look like? How long does it take to prepare, and how much are you preparing?
Not near as much as my mom. She was a cook. I'm more of a cleaner, but breakfast is easy peasy. My girls like to have.
She makes it sound so simple.
I have a house of 8 girls, and they are easy. I love breakfast. I'm gonna get up and I want some eggs and I want some grits. So we save breakfast really for like Sunday nights. My girls are now doing Sunday night dinners, and they cook breakfast to the nines. I can get up and make breakfast, but they stay in bed till the very last minute, and then they have to get out the door. So they're more like Pop-Tarts and cereal, and sometimes we'll make pancakes, and they'll get up and eat that. But so breakfast is easy. Lunch is just, normal sandwiches, and every now and then we'll throw some mac and cheese and hot dogs in there. It's simple, so we can get back outside and play or go swimming. Dinner is the main meal at my house. So we cook a lot of that, and I'm really good with crock pots and casseroles, but my mom is more of, are you gonna come over? And then she'll help me do 3 or 4 sides. That's so much for me to try to do by myself. Yeah. We do that some if the big girls are down. But it's not as bad as I ever imagined. Just with me and my daughter, dinner is simple. And so now, yes, there is a lot more of it, but I've learned how to put that in the schedule, and it works out great.
So now, roughly, generally, how much does it cost per year to run the home, and how much are you bringing in with your yearly fundraiser?
I'll let you talk to the annual budget.
Yeah, I should have some budget.
I think it's right at 200.
It's somewhere between 2 and 250, I believe, on an annual basis. That fluctuate with if we're running all 3 homes or if we're running just the main 2, and then with the gym, and we do community activities in the gym. So if that's running full time, that sort of thing. So somewhere between 2 and 250 a year, I would say. And then for the annual event,
So far, this will be our 5th event, and we've raised $90,000 total in the first 4. So, it's really just a drop in the bucket of their total expenses, but it does help.
Oh yeah, it helps a lot. That's amazing. So we're really glad and thankful, and that's another reason why we have this, is for people to come and see what you're helping. There are so many of us that do tithe and give out our donations to different organizations, but to be a part of it and to touch it and to see it, and more than just a paper that you're getting in the mail or something that you get to see online from time to time. I just enjoy so much when people actually come and see what you've done to help, make this a way of life for us. So this is the true reality for these kids.
So at this point, do you have room for more children, or are you
There's always more room.
There's always more room, huh?
You hear that?
Yes.
Yeah, so you're not turning anybody away.
No, I don't think my parents ever have. That's probably why we wound up with 35 in one house, and they realized we might need let's look at maybe building another house on the property. So, no, I have 8 in my house and could fit at least 4 more. We'd be cozy, but we could fit them.
Yeah.
And we have a whole nother house that we've been working on there's 7 bedrooms in that house. No one's in that house at this time. So that's future prayers and future need that we hope that if there are kids available and that need a place to stay, please, we will make it work.
And so how do you usually find out about the kids? Who calls you?
Sometimes it's grandparents that have been raising kids, and they are in their 70s, even 50s, 60s, and can't raise a group of 4. Church groups and a lot of the people who come and see us throughout the year and in the summer when we do camps, then they go off and say there is a place for this child, rather than putting them in foster care or splitting the whole family up and trying to place them with different families. There's an option for them to come and stay and be together. Sometimes that's all you have is your brother and sister that you've been with. So I hope that this and being able to be on your show and some of the other things that we get to do will help spread that word as well, that there is a place for kids if they need a place. There's an option for them to be here with us.
Now, you just mentioned your summer camps. Are you still doing that?
We do, and it is full time. When I was growing up, we would go out to camp ourselves for about a week. And that was always fun, just to see something different. You know, people come here and they're like, why would you guys ever go anywhere else? Well, because it's your home. You're bored of being home every day.
Yeah.
But now all these camps come in, and that's so fun for the kids to get to interact with different people from different places. So that's full time from, we get out of school in May, so that'll start at the end of May, August, until about July, end of July. Not May or August, but from May until about the end of July, beginning of August, we'll go back to school. So there's a group or camp or somebody every week.
And is there more info on your website?
There is
that?
about the camps, so they can go to tauntonhome.net. And there should be information about the home and the camps and volunteers if they, you know, we have a lot of calls from time to time about volunteers wanting to come and what can they do, and we always let them know what would you like to do, because we have everything. There's always something to do.
So as you're looking down the line in the future, you know, what type of legacy do you hope that this home and your mom and dad will leave for future generations?
Maybe just a sense of family, and that your community truly they truly help you raise your family. We were raised in a big family, but a big community. My dad and all of his brothers and sisters eventually settled down in Weewa, and so we always had aunts and uncles and cousins that watched out for us at the schools, churches. You know, there was always somebody to hold us accountable when we weren't just at home. And I think that's a thing that we're getting away from maybe in America these days, is that there's nobody to hold children accountable to the way that you should be, or the way that you're trying to be raised at home. And this, just the sense of family and the closeness and the love that you feel there. You know, I just want, it seems so easy peasy. Get back to the basics of being a family and doing things together.
So what inspired your mom and dad to take this on?
For my dad, I think it was initially just being part of a big family, and my grandpa always wanting to take in kids who just need runaways or kids who needed a place to stay. And so somewhere along the lines between him and grandpa, they got into their minds that maybe we can take in more. Maybe we can do more. He presented that idea to my mom. I don't know how, but she agreed. And so that was still in their minds, I think, the initial 15, 20 kids. We can raise them on our income. We can, you know, do what we need to do to be their parents. Let's do that. And it's never ending. There will be kids who need a place to stay for the rest of time, I believe. And so how can you say no to somebody who needs a place to stay when you're able to do it? God's provided you the place, the funds, the friends, the community to do it. There's no way to say no to that.
Yeah, he saw a need, and he just took a step in that direction, and then he took another step, and then he took another step. And he has changed. I mean, not just the hundreds of lives of the children that have, you know, gone through the children's home, but literally thousands of lives because of the impact that those kids that now are going out into the workforce, and now they have confidence in themselves that they can do something, and that they might not have gotten had they not gone through the Taunton Children's Home.
And so tell us a little bit again about the day and time and location for the big Family Fest coming up.
And the event. It's going to start out at 8 a.m. We have a 5K race in the morning on May 9th, which is the day before Mother's Day, May 9th. And so we'll have a 5K race in the morning, and then at 10 a.m. are when the main events start. And one of the main events is actually something that is something that evolved into our event. It's called the Amazing Race, and it involves that you see the picture of the water slide, and you slide down the slide, you swim across the lake, you canoe, you run, you climb over something, under something. It is a lot of fun, and it's a team activity. So you participate as either a family. We have a warrior division, you know, so those that feel that they go pretty quick, and then we have a families division. So and then that goes on throughout the day. There's also the beach volleyball, which was what this was originally founded on. That goes on throughout the day. Sharpshooter throughout the day, and then we have food. Our Methodist men's group is going to be cooking barbecue, and it's fantastic. They have hot dogs and hamburgers and sodas and snow cone machines and bouncy houses and just all kinds. It is just a fun day.
So now, have you done the Amazing Race?
Oh yeah, several times.
And what's the most challenging part for you?
The swim is definitely the most challenging. When you're looking at that picture there, you really can't tell how far that is, but you've just run a certain distance and then you slid down that slide, then you got to swim across. So but we're actually, the teams are getting smarter and smarter, and they're swimming out into the lake to tag. So each person doesn't have to swim out quite as far. So you're seeing people are getting smarter and smarter as we're doing it.
And Diana, do you and your daughter do that as well?
Yeah, we've done it the last 2 years. It's our third year with the Amazing Race, isn't
Yep.
it? So that's her favorite thing to do. Her and Papa and our family, when we have reunions, we've always done like a little Ninja Warrior course. And so that just involved can we make this a lot bigger and invite the public to do it? And so we just try to come up with different things. But we did it with her cousins and some friends last year. So we did the family event, and then my dad's always getting a group of us together to do one of the warrior races too. So it's taxing, but it's so much fun.
And again, we have just a couple minutes left. Do you want to direct people to the website for more info?
Mm-hmm. They can go to tauntonhome.net for that is the children's home website. It's a work in progress, but there's some great information there, some good videos, and definitely ways to contact us directly through email or at the home on the phone. And then from that website, you can also click a link that goes just to the Family Festival page. So it's tauntonfamilyfestival.com, I believe. And that's its own separate page and its own separate website, but you can get to it through tauntonhome.net. And it has all the information about the festival as well.
Okay, Brian, any final thoughts today?
We hope you'll come out.
Okay, great. Well, Brian and Diana, thanks so much for coming on RAPLINE, telling us all about it.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
And that is a wrap for this edition of RAPLINE. And thanks again to my guests, Diana Taunton and Brian Baber. Again, that event coming up on May 9th, and more info on their website as well. I'm Emily Blaze. This is RAPLINE, a service of Gulf Coast State College and GC 90.7. A reminder, if you are thinking of adding a pet to your family, consider the adoption option. And you can always check out our Pet of the Week on our Facebook page. Thanks for listening and watching, and have a great day.